Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM, here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. In this video, we're talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down again, and retail investors are starting to panic. Is this beginning of the end for Bitcoin, or is the final shakeout before the next major bull run in 2026? In this video, we'll break down what's really going on with Bitcoin, recent price dips, why bearish indicators are flashing across the charts, and what on-chain data is revealing about institutional accumulation during the pullback. While many investors are asking, is Bitcoin over? Smart money may be quietly loading up between the scenes, just like the previous bull cycle. Why is Bitcoin dropping now? The ETF inflows and institutional and behavior, market sentiment, and retail panic. So let's see what we can see. So this is let's start with the sponsor for the channel, which is Caleb and Brown. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm only doing a Bitcoin video because it's a lot of panic and people are asking questions. And I just wanted to get a video out to kind of help you guys along the way. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about Bitcoin. I don't usually do a lot of Bitcoin content, but since things are going crazy, I just wanted to get you a quick Bitcoin live. So this is the crypto brokerage. This is Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is a crypto brokerage that helps you find cryptos to invest in and gives you a one-on-one broker alongside with a personal place to hold your crypto. You don't have to worry about passwords or key phrases. They do help self custody your crypto. So let me know what you guys think about, is Bitcoin over, in the comments. And as always, it's your main man BTM here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and super chat. So this is the crypto bubbles. Currently, Bitcoin is down 0.2 on the day, up 0.8 on the hour, down 7.2 on the week, down 28.2 on the month, and down 29.4 on the year. It is at 68,455. And people are saying it might go down. Michael Saylor says he'd take it all the way down to 8K. MicroStrategy's claim it can survive Bitcoin crash to 8K, 8,000, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs. There seems to be a no stop in MicroStrategy's Bitcoin shopping. Every week there's at least one purchase. In fact, at press, MicroStrategy, now better known as Strategies, has 714,000 Bitcoins in coffers. That is 3.4% of the total 21 million Bitcoin supply. So the question is, why would MicroStrategies keep investing in Bitcoin if Bitcoin is over? And like I said previously, now would be a good time to buy. These guys are saying it could run back up, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. During the fourth quarter earning call, the company addressed the ongoing cryptocurrency market downtrend. At the time, Bitcoin price had crashed down to new lows. Crypto-heavy companies like Strategy could see the valuation of their assets drop below their purchase rates. CEO Fawn Lee assured that current market situation will not threat to the company. The real risk was a potential scenario in which Bitcoin fell to below 8,000. In Bitcoin's price plummet, ETFs are down, but are still signaling crypto winter investor panic. The Bitcoin price has crashed and stoked fears of another crypto winter and has shaken faith in the trade that many would rival gold as a store of value and remain bullish during the crypto friendly Trump administration. While spot Bitcoin ETFs have declined by billions of dollars in recent months, net inflows from investors remain high over the past year period. And the ETF experts say they could suggest investors are trimming exposure, especially hedge funds and speculators, rather than long term investors abandoning the asset class. So, this is a quick video we'll play. So, let's see what this guy has to say.
Sell off. Assets are down, but most of that is price appreciation, right? Bitcoin is down more than 50% from its October 2025 peak. We've seen a handful of outflows, maybe $7 billion, but the vast majority of ETF investors show they're here for the long haul. The people who have been selling are mostly sort of OG, the original crypto investors. Remember, they own most of the asset. They've been accumulating it over 15 years, and they've been trimming their positions a little bit, not en masse, but a little bit. And that's what's been driving this pullback.
Now, Will, roughly 40% of the spot Bitcoin ETF holders are underwater right now. They need Bitcoin to go up roughly 50% in order to make themselves whole. How are you, working with some of your customers? Like, what is the general sentiment right now with respect to how the ETFs are trading? Is it just, are they people hanging in there to break even, exiting those positions?
I think that there's a lot of negative sentiment out there, and actually probably the most negative that I've seen in quite some time. And it's tough. It's tough to be a Bitcoin investor or a crypto investor right now when you look at the price of gold going through $5,000 an ounce, other assets appreciating to all-time highs. And I think the precious metals thing has really caught crypto investors sort of off guard. This is not supposed to happen. Gold's not supposed to go to all-time highs, and crypto sort of doesn't react like this. And so I think for a lot of people, the sentiment is negative. And therefore, we've seen that manifested in online, et cetera.
Yeah, we've certainly seen this break in the digital gold thesis for Bitcoin the last few weeks as gold surges to all-time highs. Another dynamic that I'm trying to square, why do we almost never see dip buying in the ETFs? It almost always tracks the price of Bitcoin or Ethereum. Rarely do we see ETF flows break momentum in the markets. Walk me through this, Matt.
Sure. Yeah, I think there are two aspects going on. You actually do see, if you look close enough at the flows, you can see that some of the providers like Bitwise, which serve primarily financial advisors, do get inflows that are counter trend. We had significant inflows across the suite of all of our products last week because our
So, as you mentioned, they are still buying the ETFs. They're pulling away because a lot of people are buying precious metals like gold and silver, but these are asset classes that I'm sure are going to translate back over to crypto at some point, because we know that crypto is bringing these asset classes on the blockchain, and they will be using these as investment leverage. I've talked to several people that are saying that they will start using gold and silver as a investment on Bitcoin, where they can leverage precious metals on the blockchain. And if this happens, they will start with the top, which would be Bitcoin. So people would leverage their precious metals to purchase Bitcoin. And as the precious metals goes up, they will also hold that parallel with Bitcoin. That is one of the catalysts. And also, I think we'll look at Twitter in a second. And there is some things brewing on Twitter as well. Let's finish this video real quick, though.
Financial advisor investors were buying the dip. What covers it over is that ETFs serve a wide variety of audiences. So often when you see those outflows, those are coming from hedge funds or traders who are also participating in the ETF. So it's really a tale of two sides. When I speak to financial advisors, they are looking at this more as an opportunity than a risk. Again, we continue to see inflows across the full suite of our products at Bitwise. And I think that's reflective of these sort of two markets, the fast money market, who are investing for the next month, and the people who are investing for the next 4 or 5 years.
You know, part of the thesis in speaking to analysts was the fact that these spot ETFs, these spot crypto ETFs over the last 2 years really helped put a floor under the price of Bitcoin. But it seems as though in the last 6 months, they're not providing that same support. And obviously we can see overall fund flows, and to your point, Matt, that can kind of cover up who's buying and who's selling. But are there any pieces of information that you're waiting to see in those 13 Fs, any specific hedge fund moves that might explain the market action we've seen? I put that to either one of you.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in there. There's certainly a lot of chatter about whether we'll see hedge funds that built big positions at the end of Q4 who maybe have wanted to unwind those positions early this month. But of course, the 13F data is significantly delayed. I think there's aspects of all of it. What I would point to again is I do think there are long-term investors. I think the ETF flows have buoyed the price. If this is a full-blown crypto winter, similar to 2018 or 2022, in those crypto winners, Bitcoin retraced 77 to 85%. Again, we're down about 50, 52% now. That delta may be explained because the ETF investors were buoying the price. I know it's still down substantially, but it's less compared to previous bear markets. And I think if we stabilize here, we would note that the ETFs were in fact that stabilizing force, just not enough to keep the price at all-time highs at all times.
So this is big intent swap alert. 529,000 USD Ethereum to 8.5 Bitcoin. Transaction linked to Explorer near intents. Basically, Ethereum USDC to Bitcoin 7.5. Interesting. So it looks like they are swapping. A lot of closed doors meetings for the Clarity Acts happening almost every other week. You can sense what's coming. Yes, we are close to the pass of the Clarity Act. The White House new crypto meeting this week on Clarity. Digital Commerce publishes their version of it. Another closed door meeting at the White House could happen as soon as this week, stated the White House crypto advisor, as the negotiations over Clarity hit critical state. Last week's meeting between the senior bank officials and crypto lenders ended without a deal after banks circulated a document titled Yield and Interest Prohibition Principles. In response, Digital Commerce representative over 130 crypto firms published their own principles Friday, pushing back. The principles push to preserve stablecoin as payments instruments, protect DeFi liquidity and dollar dominance. As the president's day, we're not working today. Keep an eye on tomorrow's update. So let me know what you guys think. Let me see what happened here. Dang it. So going back to X. What was that? It was this guy. Bitcoin whales accumulate as price dips below 60K. On-chain data shows a major accumulation trend from large holders addressing 1K to 10K. Bitcoin added 10,269 coins in just 24 hours on July 17th. This purchase worth over 600 million marks the largest single day inflows for the cohort since late June. and buying occurred as the price Bitcoin traded below the 60,000 level. Smart money's buying the dip while retail panic sells. Classic. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's over for Bitcoin, or do you think it is starting to accumulate for that next leg up? Strategy says it could withstand Bitcoin dropping to 8K. Key numbers: 117,000 Bitcoin held, 3.4% of the total supply, 6 billion in convertible debt, Bitcoin coverage ratio 8.3x. Average accumulation cost 76K. Current price is 69. 10% unrealized lost. Plan to gradually convert debt to liquidity over 3 to 6 years to reduce liquidity pressure. The risk isn't just the down draw, it's how long volatility lasts. So as mentioned, I think it's going to pop back. And Steak and Shake just said sales are rising dramatically due to Bitcoin payments. Soon every restaurant will accept Bitcoin as payment. This is just the beginning. So shout out to Steak and Shake, because I actually used Bitcoin at Steak and Shake. It's actually pretty cool, but it's only a matter of time before this adopted across the rest of the Steak and Shake restaurants. New strategic Bitcoin reserve bill just got introduced in Congress. The bill will allow taxes to be paid in Bitcoin at a 0% capital gain tax. This is huge, and this is huge. They're letting you pay your taxes with Bitcoin. Hold up. Wait a minute. Bitcoin isn't hype. It's architecture, blockchain, immutable, trustless, cryptographic, open source, independent. 223 price movement. Steak and Shake says its sales have risen drastically since they started accepting Bitcoin. And as this word gets out, I'm sure more and more people will start picking it up. Coinbase CEO says the U.S. government could eventually hold over $1 trillion in Bitcoin reserves. The shift is already underway.
But I think it's clear at this point that Bitcoin is a better form of money than gold. It is provably scarce, just like gold, but it's more portable and divisible. So you can actually use it. Has higher utility, I would say, and it was the best performing asset of the last 10 years. And so, for store of value, I think it's going to be important for governments to hold this over time. It might start with being 1% of their reserves, but I think over time it'll come to be equal to or greater than gold reserves.
Okay, great. Well, let's go to the next question. Let's go to the lady over there.
But I think it's clear at this point. That
So that is interesting as well. If he thinks that the reserves will be deep in the Bitcoin. Bullish. Eric Trump says every major bank will adopt Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Crypto, had we not been debanked and
and we knew this already as well.
But the reality is the banking system in this country is absolutely antiquated. It doesn't work. It's costly. It's slow as hell. I would have never been in crypto had we not been debanked and deplatformed by absolutely everyone. If I wasn't getting the letters from Capital One saying, congratulations, 300 of your accounts are gone overnight, believe me, I wouldn't have found this industry. But this is an industry that within a year, everybody's going to be in. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody, every bank, every consumer, because this is just the way of the future. And it's an honor to be part of it. And frankly, I'm glad my father's leading the way on it, because otherwise one of the other countries would get it. And I'm glad I'm glad I look at the 401ks and I see how much they've gone up. And I'm glad I look at inflation and see how much it's gone down. I'm glad interest rates are going to come down. I mean, we're getting our country back. But the reality is the banking system in this country,
slowly but surely. But the problem is we need the Clarity Act to pass before we get ran off by other countries. Sign up for the BTM Crypto News Network to stay current on news and events. And as always, let's get back to the money, guys, and stay dangerous. Miners out.